What are the most important questions in the world? Is there a God? What happens when we die? Are we alone in the universe? If anyone answered any one of those questions, it would change everything.
Well, okay, whatever. But I think most people, the vast majority of people out there believe that there actually is a God, that there actually is God, and that we live on, that there is really no termination to existence. It's sort of perpetual. So there's that. In other words, there's life after death. We don't necessarily know what it is, but there's life after death. And most of us are pretty much assured, and I know, for me, I know for a fact that we're not alone in this universe. They're here. There's no doubt about it. They're here. And if you think about it, the reason that you you don't see aliens walking down the side of the street on a regular basis, it would be too disruptive. This is a common theme on, like, if anybody out there has ever seen Star Trek Enterprise, the TV show, that they go incognito. They put on makeup and they have their features, changed to match the indigenous people of the planet, and they have their wardrobe set up, and they have universal translators and stuff so that they can slip in unseen, because it would be too disruptive. It would be too disruptive. You'd have, to life in general, people would stop doing what they need to be doing to make a living, or the wheels of progress would sort of grind to a halt in varying locations, depending on who was there, who showed up, and what was going on. It just would be just way too disruptive, because if an alien showed up at the department store, and verifiable, people were having all these extrasensory experiences and stuff like that, and levitating and weird shit like that. They would read into it. Okay, so is J.C. Penney even, like, they're out of there, right? I don't know. Sears. Okay, they're not out of business yet, but say they showed up at Sears, right? Everybody would read into that, would read something into that, or they showed up at the New York, on Wall Street. Just randomly on one end or another of Wall Street, and then everybody reads something into that, and it creates this big, market disruption and stuff. So, and besides, your life is not going to change anyway. You still got to go to work and make a living, aliens here or not. Hell, the aliens probably have to make a living. You know what I mean? You gotta, you gotta go out there and tote that barge, lift that bale, get a little drunk and land in jail. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. And whether or not they're aliens, whether or not they're here is not going to change that. Whether or not God is to you is actually a real thing, it's not going to change any of that. It's not going to change any of your actual nuts and bolts, tangible needs. So this whole thing is about, these questions, the big questions that need, it's, if you haven't had a definitive answer, it's not going to change shit. You have a definitive, everyone has some sort of inarguable, definitive answer. Yes, there is a God. Yes, there is life after death. No, we're not alone in the universe. You're going to be here at 9, right, to go to work. You're going to clock in at 9, right? Because we need you over the weekend. Because so-and-so got sick and they can't come in, and we need somebody to flip those hamburgers. And you're like, well, gee, I guess, they still take, they still accept cash and credit only at the grocery store and the gas station, so I guess I better go to work and make a living so that I can get some gas for my car and get some food to put on the table, pay the light bill. Still got to do all that stuff. Nothing changes. Oh, they got a cure for cancer. All right, cool. Still got to fucking put gas in the car, put food on the table, pay the light bill. You got to go to work. Nothing changes. Right? And that's the big scam is always, especially like with the military, right? Is exchanging intangibles for tangible things. That's the real skilled con artists out there are able to trade intangible things like love and honor, feelings, how you feel about yourself, self-esteem. You feel good about yourself. Well, I feel good about myself that I went and donated, such and so forth, or I went and I went and volunteered over at the, Salvation Army or whatever. Meanwhile, God, what's that other place? There are these hospice, quasi thrift stores. They're thrift stores, but they're like quasi charity type of operations, but they're really actually for profit, and they get people to go in and donate their time to work on the floor and donate the materials, the books and end tables and cribs and lighting and stuff like that for people to come in and buy, and it's all for a feel good. But meanwhile, the owner of the place is actually making a profit. And it goes on and on, but the classic one, the most overused, frankly, is the honor and dignity thing, where you go and you sign up to fight wars in the Army. You go and you get trained, and it's all good, and some people love that life, and that's cool. But the thing is be a man, be all that you can be, and you go and join the fucking Army, and they fucking blow your legs off for you. Or your hand off, or give you a nice case of TBI and PTSD and all that stuff that never goes away. And you traded all that, and you get remunerated to a certain degree. There's guys out there that they do okay, as long as they don't get fucked over, out of it and stuff. But they do okay on disability and stuff, and their pension, Army or military pension is apparently not that bad. So they get remunerated. So some guys don't. The VA is not necessarily all that bad. It's it's kind of sort of a regional thing. But essentially, you get they want young, impressionable dudes in there. So because you can get those guys to trade their tangible physical body and mind and spirit for the intangible feeling of being a part of, and honor and dignity and all this intangible stuff. So that's the racket of the universe right there. So yeah, doesn't really matter. They're here, by the way. They're here. Them, they, yeah, they're here. No doubt about it. And a lot of you folks out there know what I'm talking about, who have had experiences like I've had. They're here. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it. They're here. And it doesn't matter, because you still gotta pay the light bill and get gas and put groceries on the table and take your kid to the doctor if he or she gets sick, and so, but it's all good. It's nice to know that we're not alone, and there is a God, and God is good, really is. And if you don't believe that, that's your tough shit, frankly. Sucks to be you. That's all I got. My name is R. Crosby Lyles, and this has been News from the Can. And this is a fluff piece, I know. I don't know. I had a bug up my ass about this today. I happened to see this new trailer. I love Gillian Anderson. Yeah, I really, I had a thing for her back, way back when, because I don't know. I just like redheads. I don't know. What can I tell you? But anyway, she still looks pretty good. Still holding up pretty good. And Dave Duchovny, you know, that guy's done a lot of stuff. So anyway, that's all I got. My name is R. Crosby Lyles. This has been News from the Camp. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Be good out there. It's like cool. We're having like, you know, very mild weather, which we do a lot in July in north central Florida. Sometimes we'll get these little cool, you know, blasts in the middle of July. Very interesting. So anyway, today is I think it's today or yesterday, aphelion. We're at the furthest distance in the orbit, in our elliptical orbit from the sun. I just saw that in space. I see them in my feed. So look them up. And that's it. Take it easy. See you.